Hello, I'm Apostle Jeremy Scott Gibbs, and I'd like to welcome you. This is the introduction to the Company of Prophets, and we've titled this whole series, In the Company of Prophets, because that's the heart that the Lord was sharing with me. The Lord began to talk to me just a few weeks before we were recording this first intro about the Company of Prophets. You know, in the time of Elijah and Elisha, it focuses on, there was a whole company of prophets. In fact, when Elijah was running from the queen, the Lord said, I've reserved for myself 7,000 who've not bowed the knee to Baal. And those were prophets. Those were the prophets of the Lord that were all around. Obviously, there was a leadership and everything like that. But what the Lord really put on my heart was that there are a lot of prophets. There's a lot of you out there that you're in different places, different environments, and there's a disconnect. There's a lack of, one of the things the Lord really spoke to my heart was there's a lack of parentage. There's a lack of spiritual fathers, a lack of spiritual mothers, whether you're a prophet or a prophetess. And what the Lord wanted to do through these videos, and I'm just doing the intro, there are going to be several other prophets that are part of Heartland Fellowship, and I know that down the road the Lord will bring in other people from other places to join in with us, but it will be predominantly to start out with the beginning episodes, and there'll be audio and video podcasts and streaming videos. We'll have those going. But there'll be different prophets that'll come in, and what they're going to do is they're going to talk about what it means to be in the company of prophets. Because the Lord wants you to know, no matter where you're at, what situation you're in, and we've been in various situations, as you'll see, as you'll hear us talk about different things, we're going to talk from our heart about what it means to be a prophet, especially in this age. I'm 40 years old, and there were a lot of years that I was in different spirit-filled places that didn't, either they recognized the office of the prophet, but unless you had a national ministry, they didn't go, yeah, come on up here. You know, share what the Lord wants you to share, or prophesy to the people, encourage them. Because part of the thing, this isn't a teaching about what a prophet is necessarily, you know, that a prophet is there to edify and encourage and comfort, but it's more along the lines of encouraging you as a prophet or a prophetess out there, mostly in the wilderness. I know what the Lord really showed me and laid on my heart was there's a lot of you that are out there and you're wandering around. And whatever place that the Lord has you at right now, there's not a support system. There's not a spiritual father over you or a spiritual mother over you that's encouraging you, that's building you up, that's strengthening you, that's drawing out those gifts that God has placed into you, and you feel stifled or you feel confused or you feel, there's just a lot of things. And even as I was talking with the prophets before sitting down and doing this one, just leading up to this, we were talking about different ideas and different concepts, different things that we've gone through that we know we're not alone in, that other people have gone through. And what we want to do is share a lot of those things to bring an encouragement, because we've overcome those things. Not to say that we don't still deal with different things and different situations that come at us, but we've overcome certain situations, and we want to be a place. This whole series is going to be about encouraging you as a prophet, as a prophetess. So I wanted to lay out this introduction and say, welcome to this. Check out the different ones. There will be numbers and stuff on the episodes, the different episodes, but look at the subtitle of what it means, because some are going to focus on that you've been hurt or injured. You've been rejected in certain places. Some are going to focus in on how the Lord called you to be at a certain body, but the leadership of that body more times than not just tolerated your presence versus reaching in and saying, I see the gifting in you. I don't fully understand it. I don't know all these things, but I'm trusting the Lord and I want you to get up and minister. And so because of it, a lot of people have gravitated to this place where they almost minister in the shadows. They minister behind the scenes. And that's not the full desire, that's not the full heart of God and his desire for your life. He wants you, he set it up that it would be the apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, and teacher as the fivefold ministry gift, raising up the body to do the works of ministry. And he also said, that's in Ephesians 4, and in Ephesians 2 it says that the foundation of the church is laid on the apostles and prophets. The foundation, it says that the apostles and prophets lay the foundation with Jesus Christ himself as the chief cornerstone. So the church has missed the office of the apostle. They've missed the office of the prophet. And because they've missed that, there haven't been spiritual fathers to raise up other prophets that are coming up. But God's bringing a huge restoration of that. And that's not to say that everybody that throws a label or a title on themselves as an apostle or a prophet is that. And we recognize that. And the community that's here at Heartland Fellowship, God has brought us together and brought such a cohesion. And one of the huge things the Lord laid on my heart was, you as a company of prophets need to put some things on video or on audio, depending on how you're checking this out right now, and be encouraged. You're not alone. There are other people that have gone through, just as the Lord said to Elijah, I've reserved for myself 7,000 who've not bowed the knee to Baal. It's the same way. There's a company. That's what I asked the Lord. I said, what do you want me to call this, Lord? You want me to reach out to prophets that are out there throughout the world? And I know if you're listening to this or watching this, that the Lord has directed you to it to be encouraged or edified or comforted by these words, so that you can be, the heart's desire for God is for you to be the best, the absolute best that you can be. You're unique. You're an individual. You're not a carbon copy of some other prophet that you've seen. You're a unique expression of the original. You're made in the image of God. And God says, I want your giftings. I want your callings. But I also want your personality. There are people that I can't reach, that you'll see some of the other prophets that are going to sit down and talk about different subjects. They got different styles. They got different flavors of their personality and their flow and their giftings. And that's to be celebrated. That's awesome. Because everybody out there is unique. You may be similar to somebody else, but you're a unique expression of the Spirit of God and the gifting of God within you. And that's what we want to encourage you in, to step up and give you support and say, you're not alone. I know there are going to be people that tune in that are going to say, thank you, I needed to hear that. And that's what we're doing it for. So I just wanted to lay this introduction out there so that you get the idea of what to expect, because that's another key part of it. As a prophet, you need to operate in an area where you come into places and people have an expectation and they draw on the gifting of God. Remember what Jesus said? He said, if you receive a prophet because he is a prophet, you receive a prophet's reward. If you receive a righteous man because he is a righteous man, you receive a righteous man's reward. Well, that's this concept here. If you receive a prophet, and so you need to be confident in who you are as a prophet. And then also, I want to lay this introduction, this is part of what I'm doing with this introduction, is lay it out here so you know what you can expect. So you can come in and say, all right, I'm going to receive from this group of prophets. And we're not the only ones out there. That's why the Lord said, in the company of prophets. That's what he had me title this, because we're not the only company out there. There are other places and other people that have gathered together prophets. But here at Heartland Fellowship, that's what the Lord told me, is that we have something to give and impart to a greater audience, to an international audience, to people throughout the world that don't have, they've got a burning inside them, like Jeremiah talked about, and they can't keep their mouth shut. And it gets them into trouble sometimes, and they feel all alone in it. And the Lord's saying, you're not alone. There are other people that are going through, that understand, that realize, that have a support system. We want to be, as much as we can through a video or an audio medium, that support system to you, that connection or encouragement when you're out there somewhere. So as you listen to those, be ready to receive what God would have to give to you through the company of the prophets. And I want to thank you for tuning in.